Hello, Kathy, can you hear me? Hey, good morning.
Hey, can you hear me, see me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Oh, shoot. Let me, I'm not super familiar with Zoom. Oh, let me see. Let me test my video. Oh, you know what? I think that there's something wonky with my computer.
It's okay. It's all right. I understand.
Okay.
You know,
My father set up my computer, and I legitimately think he's like super conspiracy theorist guy. I think he may have disabled my camera.
I used to
So
for all of this craziness where we had to be in this world of only seeing each other through like a video screen.
yeah.
I definitely used to have tape over mine too. So
That's super smart, actually. Well, I'm sorry. I'm glad that you can hear me. I remember last time I tried Zoom, I had some issue, but we were actually trying to do a video for like a television interview, and so it didn't work. We had to do something different. Um, but oh well, I'm sorry about that.
no worries. Can you see my computer screen? Can you see the Fresh Access Bucks logo and Feeding
I
Florida?
do.
Cool.
Yes. Let
Awesome.
me minimize my settings here. There we go. Okay, perfect. I see everything. So that's great.
Awesome, perfect. So I am going to record this so you can have it later if you need to reference anything.
Okay.
The intention of this is just to give you a background of the program, and B, to make sure you understand how to run the program.
Mm-hmm.
Once we go through this, you basically could be ready to run and accept fresh access bucks for your outlet as soon as this weekend. So
Yeah.
um,
Perfect. That's our plan. People were asking last weekend because we've been advertising that it's coming by November 1st, I think we said.
mhm.
And so people were already desperately like eager to use it. And we're like, oh, hopefully we'll have it this weekend. So
Oh, great. Good, good, good.
yes.
Good. And yeah, so after this, if you need to have anybody else watch the recording, I'll email it to you as soon as we get it.
Okay.
Did you
Wonderful.
get an email from bill.com to set up your account?
I just hopped on my email for a second to get on this Zoom call, so I haven't even
No worries.
read it.
Just be on the lookout for it. Sometimes people ask, they wonder if it's spam, but it's basically just like we don't want to deal with any of the banking stuff, so it's just a secure third party
Yeah.
that
Okay.
does that enables direct deposit for us.
Got it.
And then the other email that you might need to be on the lookout for is from FM Tracks, and that's how we keep our data so that we reimburse you for the FAB incentive every week. And
Okay.
that's a part of this presentation, so you'll get familiar with FM Tracks when we go through it.
Yes.
Just now.
Perfect. I see both of those.
Oh, perfect. Good, good, good.
So I'll do that once we get off of our phone call.
Awesome. Cool. So just to start, Fresh Access Bucks is an initiative of Feeding Florida. We are Florida's statewide nutrition incentive program.
Mm-hmm.
There is some iteration of a program like ours in almost every state. Florida is lucky because it's a statewide one. In some of the other states, it might be just regional or citywide, but we actually have a very robust USDA funded grant to do nutrition incentive programs in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a
So
handy
you
dandy
said
map.
it was USDA grant funded, just so that if people ask. Okay.
Yep, it's a
Perfect.
USDA funded grant.
Perfect.
We have a large scale one. This is our second one we've received.
Mm-hmm.
And so people seem to like what we're doing here in Florida, so that's great. Our program works with farmers markets, mobile markets, CSAs, farm stands, and we're also just launching a couple of retail pilots at some independent retail locations.
Cool.
Yeah, so basically our goal is to create positive behavior change and get folks to really not only increase the number of fruits and veggies that they eat and are able to afford, but also to encourage them to do that with farmers.
Yes.
And this is a big problem. We have 3.5 million, now that number has skyrocketed, of folks that are unable to access a sufficient quantity of good, healthy food at a price they can stomach. In COVID right now, there's more than 3 million Florida workers that are unemployed or on furlough. We've seen data that shows that over 2.5 million Floridians miss at least one meal per week. And these things tie into all the different health outcomes: hypertension, chronic disease, diabetes. So if you don't have food insecurity, those issues start to resolve themselves. So we know that SNAP benefits, federal benefits, are one of the best ways and most proven efficient ways to lift people out of poverty and make sure that children and their families receive enough food to eat. So it's important work. And some of the information we've gathered really does show how when you're just trying to make sure that, you know, you're getting your kids to school, or you're moving up in the world and trying, this is the biggest handout you can give, and way to make sure that nutrition is not the issue for making sure that we can thrive in our society.
Awesome.
So again, we believe that it's better to pay the farmer than the doctor. Nutrition incentives sometimes seem like they're in an interesting juxtaposition, because farmers that are going to direct sales are often like trying to get that higher price point because they're not having all these different externalities or the economies of scale that industrial agriculture sees at a retail outlet, like a larger chain grocery store. However, it can be a really great way because we know that when food's in season, it can be more affordable. We know that farmers and people that work with farmers understand how to cook the food, understand the growing season, and can share that information and really convey the importance of not only just their community, but things that impact the economy, the environment, and our climate. So we do really see that trickle through into supporting local economies and making a more robust community space, and having a full systems view of how federal dollars spent with locally produced goods can really create a robust community and economic system.
Great. I mean, this is, I just have to remark that it's so great because, I mean, I feel like, you know, a lot of times people complain or they think that they see people using their SNAP or EBT cards and they're just eating all processed foods. But I think that this is just so amazing because it encourages people to just eat not only fresh foods, but local ones too. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it is really great. And it is tough because it's, you know, obviously we all want everyone to be healthy and it does improve impact, but it is hard, you know, because a head of broccoli, you know, can cost $3-4, even more sometimes. But, you know, a bag of chips has, you know, at least 10 times more calories, and you don't have to do anything to really prepare it to eat it. So it is really tough. So that goes hand in hand with the kind of nutrition education and talking with people that are the growers or know the growers, because they know the quick, easy ways to make something delicious. Because oftentimes when, you know, you're strapped for cash, you're also strapped for time. So having those quick, easy ways and making it a pathway where you can create those healthy behavior changes is important. Yeah, certainly. So this is the bones, this is the nitty gritty. So what we do is you SNAP, we match. So when a customer swipes their EBT card for $1, they get $1 in matching funds. Right now, that is unlimited. So if they swipe for $50, they can get up to $50 matched in fresh Florida grown fruits and vegetables. If they swipe $100, if they swipe $10, any of that can get matched dollar for dollar right now.
Awesome.
Previous to COVID, it was a $40 cap per transaction. So if they spent $42 on their EBT card, they would only get a $40 SNAP. But basically, once we get closer to December, we're going to reassess and see if we need to reinstate a cap, or if things are still looking very rough and we need to keep the unlimited match going.
With the previous cap, was that like, you said that was per transaction, so could they do that on a weekly basis?
Yeah, they could even, if they came back later in the day and wanted to
Oh,
do it,
okay.
you know, buy something else, they could
Yes.
do it again. It was just per transaction.
Got it. Okay, well that's helpful because again, actually one thing that once I get finished with this phone call, already working on is finishing our website with the subscription service.
Cool.
So it would be really helpful to have it be where it was like, you know, you buy 1 week's subscription, you get the next one basically free.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and that definitely works. So a little bit of nitty gritty on what it pays for. So SNAP benefits can be used for fruits and veggies, breads, meat, fish, poultry, eggs, dairy, seeds and plants which produce food to eat. So SNAP is really intentional. So the idea is that it's ingredients you'd go home and prepare
Right.
a meal. It's not hot and ready to eat. It's not food labeled for pet consumption. So if you do carry any raw milk
Right.
or any other raw dairy or eggs that just haven't been up to the label, that
Right.
stuff's not eligible for SNAP.
Right.
And so obviously things also like soaps, laundry detergents are not eligible
Right.
for SNAP.
Right.
I will say we want to make sure that people are using the maximum of their benefit. So if you do have any prepared food that's like packaged for consumption later, like a canned jar of kimchi, for instance, that would be SNAP eligible.
Right.
As long as it's cottage food industry certified or beyond.
Okay.
So if you ever have any questions on whether or not anything is SNAP or FAB eligible, please make sure to reach out. We've had a long list of crazy questions about what it is.
Okay. I do one I would definitely have questions about. We don't have this at our farmers market, but we do offer it online. Is kombucha. Do you know if kombucha is covered with SNAP?
So it would be how it's packaged. If it's in like a cup, like I'm going to drink it right now as I walk
No.
around,
Yeah, it
not
would be
SNAP
in
eligible. In a
a
jug,
closed
yep, that
Uh-huh.
would be SNAP eligible.
Great. Okay,
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Just like an orange juice, like a cup of orange juice, no, but like anything like a pint, you know, container or above would be
Right.
SNAP eligible.
Okay, perfect. That's great.
Yeah. And then Fresh Access Bucks, the incentive dollars are for Florida grown fruits and vegetables. It's fresh stuff. It's also plants and seeds which produce food to eat. So if you sell any seeds or if you sell any like veggie transplant, like veggie start plants,
Okay.
those would also be both SNAP and FAB eligible. You probably won't receive them, but because there are other Orange County farmers markets that are Fresh Access Bucks markets, you might receive a green FAB token. If someone does ever come to your booth with a FAB token, a green one, green and green only, I'm going to say that specifically, not a SNAP token, a green FAB token, you can accept that, and I'll show you how to redeem it because they can be used anywhere at any of the outlets. So just be aware if anybody comes, it means they swiped and got a matching dollar amount at another market, but they chose to redeem it with you, which is fine because the way we actually give out the incentives is based on redemption only. So it makes
they don't have to redeem it at the time that they make the purchase.
Nope. So that's the beauty is Fresh Access Bucks don't expire. Basically until a grant expires or a program expires, the FAB tokens are good to go. And technically for outlets that do have SNAP tokens as well, those don't actually expire either. But SNAP tokens, because of the way that accounting works, SNAP tokens are specific to the outlet where they were swiped for, whereas Fresh Access Bucks is not.
Okay.
But you guys won't be using tokens. You guys are a discount, or you are a matching program, but you won't need tokens. So I'll just walk you through that too.
Okay, that sounds good.
So a little bit on the roles and responsibilities. So what you can expect from us, from Feeding Florida, we provide resources, the technical assistance. We'll provide you the incentive funding on a weekly reimbursement basis. We can help support you in fundraising and promo needs for greater capacity and sustainability. Like I mentioned, we're going to be having our fall Facebook and Instagram ad campaign where we give you a small amount for boosting posts that reference Fresh Access Bucks. So I'll make sure you get on the email chains for that information.
Great.
We make sure on a monthly basis that markets are aware of different policy issues affecting direct marketing outlets. We do conduct site visits and secret shopping once a year at least. So at least sometime this coming year, I will come and get to actually visit you guys, which I'm excited about.
Yay, yes.
We do evaluate data as well as facilitate networking between all of our different outlet partners, and we do a statewide training. This past year we did it virtually because COVID was really in the highest stages in May. So it'll probably be again May 2021. So we'll assess whether or not that'll be like an in-person day event or a virtual one as we get closer, and we'll keep you posted on that. From you all, what we expect is that you guys would manage the incentive distribution, the record keeping, and promotion of the program at your outlet. You'll use FM tracks to report your data, which is what we'll go over next.
Okay.
On a weekly basis, you input your data, so basically what SNAP and Fresh Access Bucks transactions happened. You'll make sure that only Florida grown fruits and vegetables are purchased with the FAB incentive. Any of your market staff, you can use this video or we do have some other materials if you'd like for training your market staff to make sure they understand what SNAP and FAB eligible when they're checking customers out. This one's tough. So to provide 6 unique SNAP nutrition education events annually, basically that just means handing out a recipe card or giving a taste test of something, which I know is kind of a no-no right now. But anything, or if you provide a newsletter to any of your customers that includes recipes or what's in season, that kind of stuff counts. So I know people look at that and they're like, oh no, but it's usually things you're already doing. We just want to give you credit for it because we know it's such an important piece of, just getting people to try different fruits or veggies or things that might look kind of different.
Yeah, so we send out we have like an email list of like 10,000 people. We send out a weekly informational email. And we always include recipes for local weird stuff or like the nutritional value of it. Would that kind of thing count?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep. Cool. And I want to get on your email list. I love getting the newsletters from our different outlets.
Yes, perfect. Please. Yeah. It's a really good one, we think.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm excited. That's awesome. Like I mentioned, we do keep folks up to date. We do the networking. So we do have a FAB regional call monthly. So if you're able to attend, that's awesome. We love it. We love hearing what's going on with our different outlets and just sharing updates from us. But we also send a digest of that too if you're not able to make it. And then we also have a membership program, which I'll talk about as well.
Okay, cool.
So I think it probably makes sense to just go through a little, go through FM tracks with you. And so I'm going to just go to a different screen so you can see it. Can you see this? It says today, October 27th up here.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is when you do go to that FM tracks email you received. It's basically giving you access to this. This is where you report the information.
Okay.
So the first thing I just want to go through real quick is manage profile. I went ahead and made your profile with your information. So it's got your location information. As of the one thing I want to point out is days of operation. This doesn't matter so much when you're actually in operation, but it does matter when you're reporting. So I know your day at the Winter Garden Farmers Market is is one of your big days. So I made that your kind of reporting day.
Okay.
And
so we need to report same day of the market because
so if you're using the website, you can manipulate the date. So all you'd have to do is just make sure that the date is a Saturday day on your on the computer when you're on it, and I'll show you how to do that. I just wanted to point that out. So if that's your big day, it just reminds you, okay, I'm kind of, even if you're reporting for the entire week, if you did other transactions or any like curbside pickup, the day that you're kind of inputting the data, quote unquote, is Saturday, and I'll show you what I mean by that.
Okay, yeah, because we have all of our administrative work, and my administrator that does all of this kind of stuff, she comes on Tuesdays right now. That's the schedule. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, all of the reporting information from our main day, Saturday, would need to be just inputted on Tuesday.
Okay, perfect. And that's fine. If it can be done Tuesday before 1, because what we do is each week we pull the data in the late afternoon. So I'll be doing that today for the past week. So we look at, so this Tuesday I'll be pulling last Monday through Sunday's information. Looking through everybody's, and then I submit it to my accountants, and it gets into your account by that Friday. So as long as your person can get it in by Tuesday before 1, that every week.
Perfect. I'll make sure that that just becomes part of our thing.
Okay, cool.
Write that down.
So you'll see that you basically have fresh access bucks. We do oftentimes do little flyers with an additional $5 of fresh access bucks with any SNAP purchase. So I added that. We also have a FAB frequent shopper card, which I can give you more information about, which basically is that on the 5th visit, the FAB, that shopper would get an additional $5 in fresh access bucks for free.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And so you'll show up in this market manager information when you confirm your email list. So that's the profile. So as I mentioned, when you're actually going through, the basic place you'll be is this enter daily sales and data. And it kind of operates on a series of tabs. So we have the transactions, which will do the vendor reimbursement and the post-market report.
Okay.
So today is not a Saturday. So if I wanted to put transactions in, I would want to just make sure I was putting it in for the Saturday. So this is all what I was referring to. So
Right.
Saturday is the day that's your market day. So all you do is just go ahead and select the 24th, which was the Saturday, and then you're good to go.
Oh, okay. That's easy.
Yeah, it pops up actually when you first come into the program, it pops up a reminder. So if I went, let's see, when would it do it? Let's see. So I went to this market. Now let's see if it'll go back to you. You'll only have the one. So it kind of is doing this thing.
I saw it. It said, which date do you want to choose?
Exactly. So it'll kind of remind you that like, oh, hey, like go to the day your market day is supposed to be. So
okay.
Here we are. We're in our right market day. I'm inputting the transactions from the Saturday and the week of, the past week, the Monday through Sunday that happened prior.
Got it.
So for my intents and purposes in this program, you only need to put in your SNAP transactions, or the pandemic EBT was the EBT card they gave to parents with school-age children.
Oh, okay.
If you do have those, if you do get those, they say PEBT on them.
Okay,
so
they still exist. They're still in operation.
And apparently the word on the street is they might be refunding those cards, so they might come out again with more funding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So they're in there. They're both matched. So SNAP and PBT function in the same way.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So if you have a SNAP customer, say that SNAP customer came and they spent $10 with you, you can match, and they spent another 10 in fresh access bucks, you would just swipe that. So generally your model would be a 50% off kind of discount program, but because at the farmers market, folks could potentially buy more in SNAP than in fresh access bucks, you can manipulate it. So you can take away the auto calculate button. And say, for instance, they got, something that was $10 in SNAP eligible, but they only got $8 of something that was fresh access bucks, you would just go ahead and click that.
So I have a question. So this is reported person by person.
Yes, this is an individual transaction.
Oh my.
I have, but only for your SNAP customers.
Right. Okay.
And I have a transaction sheet I'm going to share with you after this. So it's kind of like a paper log you keep at the market for the SNAP transactions.
None of this is automatically like documented, like when we swipe through Square or anything. Is there any reports that you can run to show that?
So you could show your SNAP transactions through that on the EBT machine, but you wouldn't be able to show fresh access bucks. So you'd at least need to demarcate which ones go with a certain fresh access bucks amount.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm only concerned because like right now we average, I have to look at what the last few weeks, we do 400 plus transactions on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't really know. Do you know like an average percentage of most markets what SNAP EBT is being used? And obviously it depends, I'm sure, on how much you promote it and let people know.
Yeah, but, I'd say most outlets probably have between 10 to 20 SNAP transactions a week. So you're not talking high volume per week of SNAP transactions. 10
to 20 transactions total, but is that based on how many transactions are those markets doing?
I'm talking about like an entire farmers market, like a large farmers market. Like, so even like, well, here's one. So the Lakeland downtown farmers market, the Saturday market there, if they have 30 SNAP transactions in a week, they're doing well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I guess maybe I'm overly optimistic, but I feel like we've had so many people inquire. I feel like if we promote it, I feel like we'll be able to kind of get a lot more than that.
yeah,
I hope anyway. I would like to be able to incentivize people, but maybe I just, that's what, whenever I saw it was per transaction, like, oh my gosh, if I'm entering like, 100 of these, but maybe I'm just out of touch with how many people are going to use it.
well, give it a try and see what it does. You'll be surprised because it's not as if it's right there and then people, like a lot of times, some of our outlets, like it takes them a while to get above 10 Snap transactions
Got it.
a
Okay.
week.
That's
So,
fine. Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
mean, it's fine. We'll figure it out either way. I mean, I hope it would be great if we had a lot of people where it was a problem to have to figure out how to, manage each individual, like, oh my gosh, so much record keeping, that would be a good problem. But okay, that gives me at least an idea of what to anticipate where I'm like going to have, not 50% of our transactions be Snap EBT. I don't really, I'm not really sure how many people in our community, but we are in a low income area as well, like a food desert area and it's a low income and it's a food desert. So maybe it'll be a little bit higher, but I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. These are good questions. So the paper transaction log for having at the market is pretty quick and easy, and it answers all these questions. So it'd be the SNAP amount, the fresh access bucks, their customer ID is the first and last initial on that EBT card, and then the last four. And that will actually help you kind of match and verify your records. So for record keeping, it's quite good to have.
Okay, let me write, is that information written down anywhere? Because I just want to make
Yes,
sure
it will be in this training, and I'll also be sending you some like kind of quick tips to kind of print and bring to the market with you.
So it's the first and last initial of their name.
It's on the card. So
Okay.
all this information's on the EBT card. So as
Okay,
you're swiping it, you can see it. So it'll be the first and last initial, and then the last four on that EBT card.
Okay, got it.
And then the zip code. The zip code is not mandatory. We strongly encourage it so we know where people are coming to get to you.
Yeah.
It helps with our record keeping. But if you're
Oh,
busy and
yeah.
you're feeling rushed, not required,
well,
highly.
Yeah, that helps for us too, actually, the way we can know what areas to try to target with like promotions and stuff. If we're doing paid promos, like we have a higher concentration in certain areas, we can do that.
Exactly. Yep. So once you have those pieces in, for the FM track side, you've got your total currency. There's $10 in Snap. They got $8 free in fresh access bucks, and you go ahead and submit transaction. Since you guys do so much produce, so much fresh Florida stuff, I would say that oftentimes it's just going to be auto calculated. So if they have, say they're buying $20 total in product, you would then say, okay, so they've got at least $10 or more is fresh access bucks eligible, which means it's a fresh Florida grown product. You would then charge them $10 on Snap, $10 on fresh access bucks for the total of $20. You'd have that first and last on your EBT card, a zip code if you've got it. Go ahead and say 20 total, 10 on Snap, 10 on fresh access bucks, and submit transaction. And as
all of those other bullet pointed items with questions, do I not need to answer those?
Yeah, so this is if you're using, so this application does work on an iPad as well, and the iPad is kind of like in the moment.
Gotcha.
And they show up, but these are not required questions from us. These are questions that are within the FM Tracks like system. Some of our markets really do a lot of data collecting, and they use these, and they've actually tweaked these. So there's specific questions that they're trying to follow with either new or repeat shoppers. But I would say 80% of our markets, maybe even more than that, don't use any of these questions. So these are all optional as you get used to the system. I usually don't go too deep into them because there's just there's other things that are actual mandatory that are more important.
Yes, right. Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing you might see is, of course, if you have a Snap customer that comes in with either a flyer or a frequent shopper card, you can add those there. The thing that's important about those is as long as there's a $1 Snap transaction going on, they can use these things too. So
okay, so it's just a $1 minimum for Snap. Okay.
For any of those, yeah.
Okay. I have another question too, because I know I believe you mentioned previously that so I would say, especially as we come into season, it's going to be like probably 90% of our stuff is going to be local, but we still always have all the staples like pears and apples and bananas and things that aren't local. So if they come up with, you know, a $40 transaction and 30 of it is local, how do we run that?
Great. So that's a great example. So they've got a $40 transaction. More than 50% of it is Florida grown fruits and vegetables, so $30. So you would only have to charge them $20 for SNAP, and at least $20 is Fresh Access Bucks eligible. So there you go. Total currency, we match them dollar for dollar, be $20 in SNAP, $20 in Fresh Access Bucks, because at least that amount. The other example I would say would be kind of cool is if they happen to come with a $5 flyer. You see that adds on that $5. So actually what you can do here is you could make this $17.50. That way we can match them that $17.50, and then they're getting a free, you know, extra $5 there.
Wait a minute. I think that somehow just went over my head. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be, how did it become 250? Because it's 250 and then 250.
Yeah, so I know this one gets really confusing. So if you did a $15 match, so then you've got 15 and 15 and it's 30. Right. And you added the 5, you're only at 35.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So one thing that's really nice to just mention about the $5 flyer is that it's better to have somebody come and do like less of a swipe, because then you're right, it kind of adds differently. And that's like a problem within. So if they had $40 worth of product that they wanted to buy, you've got $20 initially, right? And then that adds the 5. The only way to do it and unfortunately it does make it so it feels like, oh, I'm getting less of a discount, but you're still getting $17.50 is what you're paying.
But because you're still getting, so the $5, it's taking $250 off of your SNAP EBT and $250 additional Fresh Access Bucks that you'll get.
Yeah, so the math does not look beautiful on this. So if the total is, so say for instance, they had $35 worth of product, right? And then they had this $5 free. So 35 is still that $17.50.
Yep.
And here's your 35.
Okay.
And then you're getting $5 more.
Right.
So you'd almost want to do this, not to say separately, but it is a little bit separately. It just, I know it sounds crazy because you're like, oh, well, I wanted the $5 off, but you're only paying for $35. I'm meeting you 35, and then here's this extra 5. Does that sort of make sense?
I don't know. I'm terrible at math. And so this is like trying to understand why it's splitting.
So everybody kind of wants to jump to, oh, well, I'm subtracting $5 total. But since we're kind of already splitting how much they're getting, it feels a little bit like, oh, I'm not getting that full discount. So now we don't have any.
But so it is kind of split though between, so I feel like it's like they're getting $5 off, but they're getting $250 off SNAP BBT and another $250 off of Fresh Access Bucks. No?
Yeah. So what I'd really honestly say is that I would do it almost as like a separate, I know this is silly, but I would almost do it as a separate transaction is what I've told people in the past. So say for instance, they had $6 worth of stuff.
Okay.
Or $7. I would go ahead and put $1 on the SNAP card, $1 in Fresh Access Bucks, and then you're getting that full $5 rather than that splitting situation, right? Because if we thought about splitting here, it would be $7, which is like $3.50 and $3.50, and the math is different than when you have like a smaller number and you can just kind of make it work around that amount. Does that make more sense when we're looking at the $1, and $5?
Yes, but I wonder, could I ask, like, if a customer came up with a flyer, could I just say, oh, go get $5 more worth of food?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. And we would encourage that all day long. So if that's the way you want to implement it, I'd say do it that way. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I would still, though, put in, can you just show me one more time? So let's just say, well, if they had their $5 flyer and they came up with $5 worth of food, I'd have to at least run $1 on Snap EBT. Yes, for them to get the $5 off.
Yep, at least $1 on Snap. So if, for instance, it's just literally $1, you could even do 50 cents on their EBT card, and then you just have this. Oops, that went to 50. I don't know if this is gonna. There we go. 0.5. There we go. So then, if all they want, that's you could even do that minimum of like 50 cents. It just needs to be a swipe, right? So then that way, if it's only $6, they're swiping 50 cents on their EBT card. We're matching them 50 cents, and then they're still getting that full benefit of the $5
Okay.
flyer.
See, that I feel like I would rather just tell people, and maybe because I don't know, I feel like I'd rather just say, hey, like we can totally use this. You just need to go grab something that's $6 total, and it'll only cost you 50 cents.
Yep.
Because we'll still give you the match, and then they could just be like, oh, okay, I'll just go pick something out that's $6, you know, or maybe take something separately out of their order that they already have. That would be $6, right?
Yep.
If they had like a larger order and they showed up without, okay, I'm gonna set this one aside. So this is so complicated for my brain, I guess. Okay, I can understand that.
And you'll start to play with it, and feel free to have questions as like scenarios arise and stuff like that. But yeah, I do get, trust me, the $5 flyer became more complicated than we ever would have thought. So you're not alone.
Well, it is funny how it matches, like just because it manipulates the match and all that. But in this, so the same would apply to the frequent shopper $5, right?
What's that? Say that again.
The same principle would apply.
Exactly. It'd be the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Got it. Okay.
So
I can make that happen.
Good. I'm going to submit that transaction. And you can see on that one, it'll show up down here on the logs. It'll tell me, you know, all this different things of what was distributed and redeemed. I will show you the difference too. It says anonymous here if I didn't put in a customer ID. But of course, the transaction numbers still come up too.
Okay.
So if you ever do miss somebody,
you'll have a log that you'll send to me, and then we'll just put that on a clipboard of that register. Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
And then, so that's the first step. And then what you do to close out the day are these last few tabs, the vendor reimbursement. So for you guys, you are your own vendor. I already put you in here as pharmacy. All you would need to do here where it says Snap EBT. So say for instance, we, all the Snap that you distributed at your outlet is going to be redeemed because it's kind of happening there. So this is just kind of an aggregate check-in. So say we had, you know, the $38.50. You do not need to tell me how many number of transactions. If you have that information in front of you, because you can see them, you'd say, okay, there was 4 transactions.
Right, and that's the total of the 4 is $38.50.
Okay. Exactly. If there was any PEBT and number of transactions, you'd put that there, but that's not required. And then fresh access bucks. So then it would just be how much. So that again, so say for instance, we didn't quite match it. We only had $36 or I'm sorry, we had $31.50 and we had one $5 flyer.
Okay.
I will say right here in this incentives redeemed, if you lose track of how many of the flyers happened, you can just bulk it into this fresh access box.
They hand in the flyer, right? I mean, the time that they redeem, it's like
they would hand in a flyer. Yep.
Okay. Yep. And then as far as the incentives redeemed, because on the log, I guess I should look at the log sheet rather than asking you all these questions, but it'll have the total of the incentive written on that log sheet, right? Of how much they redeem.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll see that. And so the only reason, so this is a really redundant step. You are going to have basically your transactions that are distributed are going to be redeemed that day. So this is kind of like it's almost like a repeat step for you, but it's kind of putting in the aggregate. It helps check your numbers. And unfortunately, the way this program works, it's how we're able to pull data from the 60 some odd markets and see a number. So while we do check through your individual transactions, this is sort of your backup. So if you're a if you were a market manager running like multiple vendors, you would have to do this for every single vendor. But since you're your only vendor, it's simplified for you. So it does feel a little more redundant.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so then you'd go ahead and click submit reimbursement. And you'd see right down here in your log, here you go for your week, you're all set. $38.50 in Snap, $36.50 in fresh access bucks.
Okay. So, and then this is reimbursed to us through a total that bill.com payment
Yep.
system.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just trying to balance because I mean, again, not that it's going to be because usually we're used to seeing the income from our farmers market hit our bank by Monday. You know, if it's a Saturday market, it's in the bank account by Monday. But now it'll be, you said, if you run the reports on Tuesday, that payment comes through by the end of that following week, right? Friday.
Right, so that'll be in by Friday. So
Okay.
the SNAP, any SNAP transactions, so any of these payments redeemed SNAP, that's going to come in through however you set it up with your EBT equipment provider for that bank.
Right.
And those usually will hit your bank account no less than 2 days after.
Okay.
The fresh access bucks will be the bill.com from us. And so we pull the reports, like I said, Tuesday afternoon, and they should be to you no later than Friday.
Okay. Do you know whenever I can't remember because I've set up so many, I feel like I've filled out so many things. Whenever we signed up for SNAP, is that something that did I already sign up for them to give us payments, or is that something I need to do in a separate step this week?
So if you have your EBT equipment, you set up your bank through them. So that would be, they would have your bank account information and that would swipe through.
Okay. Yeah. I must have done it then through the market link thing, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm just like, I don't remember doing anything with the government about that. I do remember now doing it with market link. Okay.
Yeah. The government doesn't want to touch it. They leave it to the third party, the actual EBT equipment providers to link to the banks. Yeah.
Right. Which that's what I was confused because I had like a couple of marketing people from other places contact me and they're like, oh, well, we should be your provider for EBT. And I was like, it's not just one provider. Like, I didn't realize there was multiple, I thought it was just like a government run thing. I didn't know that it was like a third party, like Square or whatever, I'm sorry. Can you hold on 1 second? There's actually a farmer calling me who's trying to deliver here right now. I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second. Hey, Mark, is the gate closed? Okay, I'm going to come right out there and open it up for you. I'm just on a Zoom call really quick about, we're getting set up to accept SNAP EBT at our farmers market. So I'm just going to run out off of that phone call, open the gate, and then if you can just walk right in, I'm just on my computer. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye. I have to go open our farm gate really quick to let this guy in. Hold on 1 sec. Okie dokie. I'm back.
Awesome. Cool. We're almost there.
Okay.
The last thing that would be in there for your record keeping is the post-market report, which is the quickest piece. All you would have to do here, this is redundant. If you miss it sometimes, that's okay. It just happens. Because for you, let's see, it would be total number of vendors selling. You just hit 1. Number of vendors eligible, 1, that's just you. 1, it's just you selling fruits and vegetables. The number of paid administration to do this. So if there was 3 people working the booth, if you had any volunteers, and then if you had any activities, like if you did any sort of gardening demo or anything else, you can pop that in. Again, for you, just because the way you're operating is different than a lot of other partners, it's a little redundant. If you miss this, I'm not going to bother you about it. But I just want you to know it's there. And what we really get from this is the activities we pull. We also pull the concept of the staff and the volunteers. So like just to get a sense of like how many people it takes to operate these outlets.
Yeah, we have a staff usually of around 8 to 10 people every Saturday. It's like it's quite the event.
Yeah, wow. The one thing, and I'll just use an example so you get an idea, is you can run reports too. I'm just going to pop into somebody else's market. So say for instance, you want to just check back and see how, your September through October we're doing. You would just select the date for your market. And then you click run reports, and then it'll give you a quick just glance. and I'll just give them, see if Alachua County comes up in a second.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is you see over here, there's exports. You can do the same thing where you'd pull a date range and it would pull you an export of all the data. But say for instance, so here's a month and a half of a large farmer's market, Alachua County farmer's market there in Gainesville. And what it'll do is it'll pull, all the payments, all your SNAP. They also track their credit cards up through this, which is an option if you do like this platform. You can do that too. Vendors redeemed, the SNAP, the $5 flyers, the FAB frequent shoppers.
Got it.
And
are those flyers and things like sent? How are those sent directly to SNAP EBT customers? How do they receive those?
Yeah, so we have done it a couple different ways. We've gone through agencies to give them out to their clients, which is usually the way we'll do it. And we're kind of talking about whether or not we're going to have any paper flyers anymore. In the past, we've also done a digital coupon where folks filled out a flyer or a survey online, and then they got emailed a coupon, and they basically just showed you the coupon through their phone, or they could print it out and bring it.
Okay. Yeah. If there's any way that we could send that out, or I don't know, if we could send it out in like an email blast for people to come try it. I don't know if there's anything like that you guys would have.
Well, we'll be considering how we're going to do the next iteration of the $5 coupon. So we'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Okay.
We were working on like what the next promo is. So we do kind of different seasonal ones, but
yeah. Great. Okay.
Yeah. And so you can see for a large market for a month and a half, they only had 166 SNAP transactions.
Okay.
So that's just to give you like an idea. So here's one. So September 19th, they had 27 transactions for a pretty robust market.
That's manageable. As far as like, because we're so slammed at the farmer's market. I'm just trying to see somebody writing down all this stuff, but it's fine. I hope it is, again, really busy.
No, and just communicate to us. I think you guys will find, like, once you get in the groove, I think there'll probably be some growing pains, but just communicate to us.
No, it'll be easy. As long as we have a little sheet to write this stuff down, I think that's like no problem to track it. And I think even having a small little questionnaire that our staff can just quickly ask them, how did you hear about us? And, did you like whatever, all those small little questions that were there, we could easily have our staff just check off along the line on the log as well, to kind of dig around a little bit to find out how they found out about it, so that we could find more people to do that. Do you have any idea what the average Florida market total SNAP or fresh access bucks? Like, I just would like to have we're at least in the average point of what people are doing.
Oh, in terms of dollar amount?
Yes, dollar amounts.
It's all over the board, but in general, the average SNAP shopper spends about $30 per transaction.
Okay, perfect.
We're at $31.09 per transaction is kind of average. And you just saw, so Alachua County is a robust, they've been around, they've had SNAP and FAB for quite some time. And they're seeing between 20 and mid 30s of SNAP transactions per market day. So
okay, got it.
But we have a lot of markets that have been around that only do about 10. So it really just depends.
Okay, perfect. That helps me a lot, just to kind of at least have an idea of like, if we only have 5 transactions, I feel like with as many transactions as we do on Saturday, I would aim to have a lot,
Definitely. Yeah. You went through all the hoops to get it. It's nice to actually be able to utilize it.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
So this is just a review of what we did. We did that vendor report, which was the reimbursement side, which is you guys, that kind of aggregate piece. We did the SNAP and FAB distributed in that transaction log, the FM Tracks ID, if there was a $5 flyer, FAB frequent shopper card. We did the number of SNAP eligible producers and the FAB eligible producers in that post-market report, which is just you guys. And then the nutrition ed events was just basically just like that events tab.
Okay.
I am here
Could you hold on just one more second? I just have to ask my farmer something. Can you wait just a second? I think I'm almost finished with this phone call. Okay. I'd love to talk to you because I haven't gotten to meet you yet. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead.
This is the little visual cheat sheet of the FM Tracks ID. When you get
I see
the EBT cards, it'll just be the first, last, and those last 4. So they're all right there for you.
Nice. Okay.
Nutrition education. I know I've talked about this a lot. It's something that if folks don't, get a better grip on like, how am I going to feed people? What should I feed my people? Like, then it's just going to be tough. We do have, and the link is here. I'm going to send you this presentation, but we do have a little nutrition education guide that also gives other ideas.
Okay.
Super important. And again, this was in that post-market report.
Right.
And that's one of the places where we confirm that you've done nutrition education by selecting, oh, we did a taste test or we did a little activity if kids came to the booth today.
Cool. Okay.
The reimbursement process, again, this is just how you guys get the money. We do it a weekly basis via direct deposit based on that vendor reimbursement data report in FM Track, so that aggregate at the end piece, and we verify that based on your individual transactions. We don't have the FM Tracks data by that Tuesday morning. You don't get a reimbursement that week. We can work with you and give it to you the next week, but we can only give our accountants one of these for their record keeping processes. It's just the way they're audited per time. So just try to be Tuesday before 1.
Okay. Yeah,
and
we'll try to get it done sooner.
Communicate. I'll just let me know what's going on.
Yes, and just so you know too, I'm just because of the nature of our small family-owned business, it's my husband and I that do 99.9% of everything, and Tuesdays are really the only day. COVID's kind of messed up everything, so I only have one day with a sitter. That's Tuesdays are my primary work days. So that if you don't hear from me during the week, it's because I only check my email like literally once a week, unless I happen to like glance at something and it's like I realize it's super urgent. But if you have my phone number, if there's ever something that you need right away and I'm not able to get back to you by email, calling or texting just to say, hey, check this email or something would be amazing, because I'm not able to check it all the time.
Absolutely. No, unheard. And I totally respect that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. So we've got all the things for you really to set up. So it'll just be making sure those reports are in for us, for you guys to start getting paid and having those transactions. Okay. This is just some of the imagery we've got. So at the top left is the FAB Frequent Shopper card, and I'll get you information on how to get those. We've got the double your SNAP benefits. So this is what our $5 coupon looked like in the past on this corner. So it'll look something like this. And then we also have kind of posters and visuals and things like that, which we'll be creating our newer versions and getting them out to all of you soon.
Okay.
So you'll have one with your information with the pharmacy kind of underneath this double your SNAP dollars here piece at the bottom.
Awesome.
So
yeah,
we'd love to have,
if there's any like larger banners or something that we could get, we can also work with the city, because we're working with them to get some new things printed out that will be, more obvious at the market, even than just a few little posters or something big that's like, we accept SNAP or whatever, and something like that would be amazing.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. And we have, so these are our logos too. We love if you put them on your website or any of your materials. I will give you a link to our full logo suite. Some of them are good for websites and some of them are good for print.
Perfect.
All of this stuff also can be found in the FAB Toolkit. So in the promotional materials, you'll find a ton of our different things that you can print out or use or put on your website.
Okay.
We do have an annual report. You do not have to worry about it because it will not be until after May of next year. So there's plenty of time for that. So I'll just be quick on that one. Our annual membership. So based on how much FAB redeemed, you pay a less than 10% membership fee. So this is our fee structure for that. We assess this starting June 1st, going into May 31st. So you will not have to worry about this until September of 2021.
Okay, so we should set aside for the membership fee roughly 10%.
Generally, it's actually ends up being about, I would say on average, it's about 5 to 7. But if you want to be safe, it's 10. And that money all gets rolled back into the program and to promotions and just collective.
Okay, but it's still good to know if it becomes substantial. We don't want to find ourselves, And
it does cap out at
whatever.
Yeah, it does cap out at 1,000. So if you got to $20,000,
okay,
you're the most you would pay.
It would be 1,000. Yeah. Okay, well that's good. Yeah, I seriously, I have high hopes, as you can tell, that we're.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it. It's awesome. It's great. And our membership includes a whole host of things, but just lean on us, lean on our relationship. We're happy and we're here to be a resource for our state and our contact information. I'm going to send you the transaction log and just a couple quick, easy things that might be helpful at the market for you.
Okay.
As well as I'm going to make sure you got get the information about doing the ad campaign to really push the program and give you guys a little bit of cash to put into a Facebook and Instagram ad for it.
Okay, great. That sounds perfect.
And I'm going to stop sharing. And that is it for me. I know that was a ton, but I will send